creating content gold at this point.
It's the Rizzler.
Nice. Okay. Yerp.
A big ass dent in his head.
Arigato.
Domo. Arigato.
Yerp.
That's because I'm not wearing any pants.
Wake up.
It's fantastic.
That one's my name.
My name was Johnny's Giblets.
Piss poor handwriting.
Oopsie daisy.
Los dos.
I'm gonna be like a poster child for something.
Just a train wreck to start. It's great. Welcome to the XYZ podcast. I am Millennial Producer Tony, and joining me as always are our host, Gen X Brian.
Hello, everybody.
And Gen Z Winston.
What it do?
What to do? Man, good to see you guys. Winston, it's no, I'm cheersing you. You noticing you drinking out of a Christmas mug.
Yes, I sure am, because like I mentioned before we start hitting the cameras, it is still Christmas in my room. I've not taken down my tree, and I am drinking out of a Christmas mug.
Hey man, it's still freezing cold.
I should have put on my Christmas pajama while recording this. Really excited. Yeah.
You're already nostalgic for what, 2 months ago?
Yeah, exactly.
Just about. We're 2 months out of Christmas here.
Right. I just watched Home Alone earlier too. Really set the mood.
Tony, what you got your box of sake?
I got my wooden cup that I mentioned last week.
Very nice.
Yeah, with my sake again. So
yeah,
looks like
I didn't get to say my drink. I'm also drinking soju, or like the Korean people say it, soju with Sprite. Yeah, green apple
soju is what? It's distilled rice.
Rice wine, I believe, is
rice
what
wine. And what sake is distilled
rice wine.
Rice wine.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
they're just cousins. Yeah,
gotcha. Okay, so cheers, everyone. Let me tell you about the super embarrassing story that happened.
Wait, before you do that, just super quickly, because I know we're never gonna come back here because of what I said. Because I said, well, okay. First of all, what are you drinking?
Oh, this is some Larceny. No, Knob Creek bourbon this week. I've switched it up every week. Yeah, this is a 9-year Knob Creek bourbon. And you can't really say, I'm only saying the year because it was printed on the label, but when you say the year, you sound so snobby.
Yeah.
This is a 9-year Knob Creek. No, I don't mean that at all. I just noticed there was a 9 on the bottle, but this is good stuff.
So I was saying, like, because it just came to my head right as we were talking about it, so that's why I had to say it in now before I forget. I said what it do, which then I proceed to say doo-doo, which I always do because it's a poop joke. It's always funny, right?
Yeah. Right. If you're 12.
Right. But what's not so funny is this just happened either this morning or yesterday. There was a K-pop award show that happened in Korea called the Hanteo Music Award. Apparently, some fans shit themselves in the stadium or wherever they were hosting the thing
due to excitement.
I have no idea. Who knows? But it got so bad to the point when artists was accepting like their awards and stuff. They were like, coughing because they were gagging.
Oh my gosh!
And like,
what's wrong with people?
And
that's
like,
awesome.
Right. And then like, and here's the thing. I don't know if this story is actually true or not, but like I've been seeing so much like content regarding it. It almost seemed like it's not a joke because of how much stuff there is. One of the girl from the group aespa, I really like. There was a picture of her like covering her nose, just looking real disgusted. And then like somebody on Twitter posted in full Korean, like, "Oh, I was the person who pooped himself at the award. I'm sorry."
That's the one thing you don't do.
Yeah,
if you're that person, you take that to the grave.
Yeah, exactly.
And you sit back and laugh. This
well, maybe you stand up and laugh. You don't want to be sitting in it.
Oh yeah, no, it's real mushy down there.
That's 70 years from now, it's a deathbed confession.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm the one. It was me.
Now that's Winston. That's something that not often talked about.
What?
That as you get older, the chances that you shit yourself exponentially increase.
Yeah.
You start not trusting farts no more. You're rolling the dice every time.
Winston, see, this is what happens when you start off the podcast. I had a funny, embarrassing story, and now we're talking about...
Hold on. I just want to show you guys some of the photos. Can you see it? They're calling it the Fan Poops event.
At least they're not calling it Poopgate, because to be honest with you, man, that's incredibly lazy that everybody calls any sort of, air quotes, scandals something gate.
Yeah.
Completely forgetting that was a hotel. Oh, yeah, there you
fan
go.
reportedly pooped their pants at the Hanteo Music Award because they couldn't escape the crowd. Oh. I wouldn't have posted about it, but yeah.
No, I would not have ever owned up to that.
Yeah. This is the person's tweet right here. Hello, I am the person who pooped my pants at the Chart concert hall. Looking at Twitter, I realized that many people had a hard time because of me. We apologize for the inconvenience caused to many people. He's telling me there was more than one person. I will reflect on what happened today and reflects on it. Sorry again for your good day. If you have my stool on your clothes, please contact me via message. I will send you the
I will
laundry
send you
fee.
laundry fee. This is fake. Nobody admitted this.
Oh, it's just it's too funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true or not, but anyway, I just had to get that out there.
This is
Interesting.
This is why I have no interest ever of being on Twitter. And yes, I know it's called X, but I refuse to do so. I think everybody's like, we didn't want the name change. Not approved.
No.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so my ridiculous story on I thought I was doing a good deed. So yesterday, my wife and I drove my daughter back down to school. I dropped her off at college after coming home for the weekend, and then we drove back up. And when we got home, it was dark. It was, the sun had already set. And we pull into the driveway, and I see somebody walking towards my neighbor's front porch. Now, we have interesting neighbors. They go out, they travel a lot for work, so they're gone often. So they're, a lot of times there's packages that, they get an Amazon delivery and it sits on their porch. So you always kind of keep an eye on it. You notice when it's been sitting there sort of, so it's been there for several days. And so I get out of the car and I see somebody there's no lights on. There's no lights on the front of this house next door. And I see this guy pick up the package and I realize this is not my neighbor. This is not the dude that lives there, right?
Yeah.
He's got a baseball hat on. He looks like he's got a weird mustache, and let's hope he doesn't listen to the podcast.
Imagine he's a fan.
I see him pick the package up and I have a serious problem with porch pirates. Like, that to me is one of the worst things you can do, is literally steal something off somebody's porch that they ordered, something they were waiting for, and you're going to go take that. That's like extra heinous. So I immediately spring out of the car, like,
come on, man.
No,
and I gun. Then what?
This guy's sneaking up on a porch trying to steal a package. I don't think he's like packing heat. This guy, he didn't look like he was very confident in what he was doing. And so I immediately yell in my best angry dad voice, "Hey, that's not yours!"
He took his cap off and he's like, "Hey, man, it's me."
No, the dude turns around. He's like, "I'm bringing the package next door. We're the neighbors." I'm like, oh my gosh. So these are
so embarrassing.
Also my neighbors that just happen to live 2 houses down. Apparently they were coming over to pick up the package that were sitting on their neighbor's porch. But then I thought about it so immediately when I realized this, and now I see that his wife is on the porch watching him. So I apologize to him. I'm like, dude, I am so sorry. I did not realize it was you. He's still standing in the dark, mind you, right? So it's not like this was a stretch where I knew it was him. And I'm just, and I see his wife on the porch. She looks amused by the whole situation.
Oh, yeah.
This dude is looking at me. He is pissed. Even after I tell him, I'm sorry, man.
It's one of those things where you're going to go, hey, you know how you were trying to do a good deed?
Yes.
I was also trying
to.
Yeah. I was just looking out for our neighbors because I don't like porch pirates. And I was ready to chase this guy down.
It's your neighbors who came to pick up the package?
Yeah.
For what purpose?
That had been sitting on their porch for a while, and the neighbors had gone out of town, and I guess had to be out of town longer than they planned. And maybe
so they probably asked those
people.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it just
everyone's just trying to keep the package safe, just in different ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you get for not minding your business, Brian. It's always free to look the other way.
Yeah, what is it? No good deed is
no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. But anyway, I figured I'm embarrassed myself because I was like, that was so awkward and weird. But I'm like, but we were going for the same thing, man. Yeah. Like you should not be so mad that I yelled at you because we're trying to make sure nobody steals.
You just
their
had
package.
A different approach. You were just gonna leave it there while he was gonna take it back over.
Yeah. So who knows what it was? It was a good sized box too. So
probably got a PS5 in there or something.
Nah, if I know my neighbors, it was probably a month's supply of muscle milk.
He's a gym brat. Gym bro. Yeah.
So anyway, that was my yesterday. That was just a weird end of the weekend of like, okay,
are we telling stories? Is this the phase that we're in right now? It's not my embarrassment, but I will tell the KFC story.
It's Colonel Sanders' embarrassment.
Yeah, exactly.
So a few weeks ago, I call my wife on the way home from work, and we have the typical conversation, which is, I'm on my way home. What are we eating? And this was a night where she goes, I've had a long day. Figure something out. I'll pick it up on the way home. I go, okay. Let's just do, I know she's a fan of this. I said, let's do KFC. I said, I'll order something on the app. You'll pass it on the way home. You just swing by and pick it up. So I go through all the rigmarole on the app. I get our food ready in there. It'll be ready in 5 minutes. I go,
hot dog.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
This is why you love fast food.
Fast food, yeah.
So I go, hey, it says it's going to be ready in 5 minutes. It'll be ready before you get there. About 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from her. She goes, I'm at the KFC, and they said they don't have any chicken.
What?
And that's the only reaction you can have to that statement. It's like, what are you freaking talking about?
You're at
Chicken
Kentucky
is part
Fried
of your
Chicken.
name.
Literally. It's not Kentucky Fried nothing.
How are you out of the one thing that you sell?
Yeah.
How? It made me malfunction.
Yeah.
I was flabbergasted. So I go, what are you talking about? Well, the manager says they don't have any chicken ready. Now, mind you, this is 5 o'clock in the middle of the week. It's
very unlikely they'd need some chicken ready at 5 o'clock.
If she'd have showed up and they said, we don't have French fries ready, that's fine. You're not a French fry restaurant. Yeah. If this would have been 2:30 in the afternoon, that's fine. It's not lunch. It's mealtime.
5 o'clock.
It's mealtime at the chicken restaurant. You're not ready. How? She goes, well, they said it's going to be another 25, 30 minutes.
What are they doing? They got to catch him?
Well, they got to go hunt the chicken. What do you mean? They're still running around in the back.
Insane. They still have to dry out the bread for the breading. I don't know what they're doing, but I go,
Well, you didn't know, but Colonel Sanders himself was going to cook that chicken for you.
The ghost of Colonel Sanders was haunting this place cooking chicken.
Yeah.
That's a good band name, by the way. Ghost Sanders.
So she goes, I'm just going to go sit out in the car and do some work and wait for this. And I go, all right.
At this point, you already paid for the food, right?
I already paid for the food. And she's like, well, the manager said that you don't have to wait. You can just cancel the order. So I get on the app. There's no cancel button. It's just a screen that says, here's the status of your order, which should have been ready now 10 minutes ago.
Right.
So I'm going to make a call. I can't do anything through the app.
Right.
There's no website to go to. There's no nothing. It just goes call corporate, basically.
So you have to call corporate to cancel an order?
Corporate. Well, I can't do it on the app. I don't know what else to do.
Right.
So I call corporate, which is not above me at all. This is all right. Standard operating procedure for this now.
I'm calling corporate. Get me one of the Sanders kids on the phone.
Tony gets on the phone and just starts saying, operator. Give me a representative.
Exactly. I know how this works. And sure enough, it's just automated nonsense that I can't. I'm just going agent until I get a human being on the phone.
Colonel Sanders.
So I start talking to this person, and all I do is explain the situation.
Mm-hmm.
We ordered, it's not ready, it's dinner time. They tell me it's going to be another 30 minutes. And before I can either ask for it to be canceled or complain about it, this person goes, oh, that's not how we do things here. I went, well, I should hope not. I would expect that's not how you're supposed to do things here. She goes, so we will.
That's why I'm calling you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to have one of my managers contact the restaurant and talk to them about this. I go, okay. Oh, sure. What are you going to do though? She goes, well, I just said we're gonna contact them and talk to them about it. I said, okay, let me rephrase this.
Order.
Let me rephrase this. What are you gonna do for me? Because now I have no food and I'm out my time that you can't pay me back for. We can refund your order. I said, am I still gonna get my food?
No. Hungry.
No. Well, I don't want my money. I want my food. I've gone through. Listen, we had a business arrangement where I gave you money, you give me food, you've not upheld your end of the bargain. Now you've screwed me out of stuff. I expect to be compensated. They go, we can't do anything from this end. So I hang up. I go, wonderful. I call corporate headquarters and they go, we're worthless.
Nope. Yeah.
Right. I call my wife back. They're not doing anything on the phone. So it's about time for you to go back in anyways. Go back in, talk to the manager, see if they'll give you a free dessert or something. You know, I'm not asking for the whole meal to be calm. Just throw a freebie something in.
Right.
This is less than 5 minutes that I've hung up on the phone, talked to my wife. She's gone inside. The manager comes out when she comes in and goes, your food's not ready. It's still going to be another 5 or 10 minutes. I was going to give you something for free. But since you called and complained to corporate, I'm not giving you anything. Which, one, not a way you treat a customer.
Yeah.
Oh,
two,
man.
I just got off the phone with these people. They already called and yelled at you.
Hey, man,
Why is it so efficient on that end and not on this end?
Yeah, no, literally.
Oh, man.
Like, in front of the workers and in front of other customers, like, this guy, like, berated my wife. And,
oh, my gosh.
Kind of called her out on this. So she has to now stand there and continue to wait for food. The other employees, perfectly fine. They finally get food ready, hand her a bag of food. She goes, I have to open this and check it out. Because of course she opens it up and goes, there's no biscuits in here. So now she has to flag somebody down and say, hey, I'm missing biscuits. And the manager who's working in the back goes, who's missing biscuits?
Yes.
Guy goes, this girl who's still here. So he comes back around and goes, well, now this time, because you have to wait again, now I'll give you something for free. But next time, just talk to us instead of calling.
Don't tell my dad.
Well, it's like you told me to cancel. That was my only option.
Oh, wow.
So it's not my fault that you got yelled at because you screwed up not having food ready at the time.
Yeah.
So my wife's standing there longer. They don't give her any biscuits because they're not going to be ready for another 15 minutes.
What is going on at this KFC,
We get a
like
food
three
item that neither of us liked or wanted. So they gave us a pot pie, which I don't have anything against pot pie, but they're not very good there.
Yeah.
She comes home. She's clearly upset. And I'm like, are you okay? Because I thought she was about to like explode. But instead of yelling, she just then broke down crying, explaining the story to me. And I'm like,
oh, geez.
I'm going to have to go
to a
KFC and kick somebody's ass for making my wife cry. I'm like, this is a bunch of BS.
Yeah. And she goes, the 17-year-old manager, I'm going to kick his ass.
I said, what do you want me to do about this? Because I'm fired up now.
Yeah,
and she goes, we're not ever going back. We're going to sit here and eat what we do have. And that's going to be the end of it. I go,
yeah.
Okay.
This show is not sponsored by KFC.
This is why you should have just ordered Chick-fil-A, man.
But she's like, I was so embarrassed to stand there after a stranger yelled at me due to his mistake.
Your wife is really nice, that's why. Like any other person would have spazzed on him. Like
I would have spazzed on him.
I would have too.
I would have been like, Tony's wife is a really nice woman.
You don't deserve to spaz on her like that. Maybe me.
Yeah. But like, I feel like any other woman would have totally screamed at his face. Like, I don't know.
It would have shown up on the internet the next day.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
That's true. You can't do
Colonel Sanders rolling in his graves, and
apparently Colonel Sanders. Yeah, he wasn't the nicest guy though. Too, I've read that he was.
Oh really?
I've got a Colonel Sanders story.
Oh, but.
Oh God!
Want to keep the train rolling?
I got a KFC disaster story and a personal Colonel Sanders story.
I had a professor.
He's my godfather.
I had a professor in college.
Where did Colonel Sanders touch you as a kid?
Yeah, right on the chicken thighs.
Not the biscuits. They weren't ready.
Yeah.
Show me on this biscuit where Colonel Sanders touches you.
He's trying to knead the biscuits, and I said no.
It's finger licking good.
So I have this professor in college who was about the same age as Colonel Sanders. He's this old Southern white man with white hair, looks similar. And he's talking about this time that Colonel Sanders had come to the college to speak, and he was tasked to go to the airport and pick him up.
Oh, that's cool.
This guy goes to pick him up. He goes, so Colonel Sanders, what are you going to talk to students about? He said, this is what Colonel Sanders said to him. Before I became a Christian, I used to swear all the time. And then once I became a Christian, I don't swear quite as much. And he goes,
quite as much.
Listen, Colonel Sanders, the guy who runs the college, not going to let that fly. That's not going to be okay. He goes, so what are you going to say instead? He goes, well, before I became a Christian, I used to swear all the time. And after I became a Christian, I don't swear so much. He goes, you can't say that. I don't know how to stress this to you enough. Do not say that. So they get to the school, they get to this assembly. Colonel Sanders gets up there and he starts talking. And sure enough, he goes, before I became a Christian, I used to swear all the time. And then moved on. And he was just like, the man was so belligerent, he was not gonna not say what he wanted to say. But I just
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
The fact that he just had to get it out there.
He was saying it, period.
Oh man.
That's hilarious.
Cantankerous old man, Colonel Sanders.
Man.
And I read the colonel title. He wasn't like he wasn't in the service or anything. No, it's like an honorary colonel.
Oh,
it's a Kentucky title.
thing. Yeah, Kentucky.
Yeah, he's just like Captain Crunch. Motherfucker wasn't even a captain.
Which is funny because that both of their voices. Well, my remembrance of the voice of Colonel Sanders is those bastardized commercials that they did with him as an animated character. It reminds me of Captain Crunch, of like my new Crunch Berry cereal, new crispy fried chicken.
All aboard for breakfast with my Crunch Berry cereal.
That's funny.
They're the same thing.
As a kid, I never thought like Colonel Sanders was a real person until I got to the US. I always just thought he was just a character made to like sell chicken. Like it was Vietnam. We had a statue of him just standing outside with a bucket of chicken in one hand and then holding a drumstick on the other hand.
I always thought he would like the little drawing of him was a caricature.
Yeah.
He's got his little like tied tie.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's got like the two loops and the two ends of it, which looks like a stick figure body with a very large head on it.
Yes.
And for the longest time when I went, oh, that's a weird way to depict this guy, but all right. And then, there came a day where I went, oh, I've been looking at it wrong.
So, Winston, do you know it is Kentucky Fried Chicken or KFC?
As a kid, we just called it KFC, mainly because like all of the KFC in Vietnam just said KFC. It didn't explain that it was Kentucky Fried Chicken. I kind of got that once I moved over here. Speaking of KFC, this is so weird. This is becoming a KFC podcast at this point.
Once again, show not sponsored by KFC.
Right. Well, not after Tony's story.
Not after Tony's his harsh Yelp review.
Yeah. I really dig KFC a lot as a kid. And then, we talked about this before too. We talked about how like over here, you guys would have birthdays at McDonald's. If you were a kid in Vietnam and you can have your birthday at KFC, you were essentially known as the rich kid at school because it was just so, yeah. Yeah, and like obviously you shows up like, you have a little area, decorated just for like kids' birthday and whatnot. There's no playground like McDonald's and stuff over here. So you're just chilling there, you're eating chicken, you're hanging out, you're getting gifts, and then everybody just goes home. But over there, what I really, really dig about KFC in Vietnam specifically is they have a different menu than the KFC over here, which is why I hate KFC in the US. Like completely hate it.
What was KFC Vietnam?
So I was gonna say I think KFC is really big in Asia for whatever reason. Like
there's thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
They're spread across the globe everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So in Vietnam, from my memory as a kid, at least, they had so instead of chicken nuggets, they had fish nuggets, which is just like a tiny filet of fish, but it's real hot every time. It's really good. And then they had shrimp nuggets, because I guess Southeast Asia just like seafood or whatnot. And then they had a shrimp burger, and then you could order chicken tender with rice, and then they'll serve that with like ketchup. It's weird, but like they didn't have like mashed potato and gravy, mac and cheese, chicken pot pie.
They didn't have either of those? What were your sides then?
I can't remember, but mostly fries is from what I remember as a kid. And otherwise, because when you order, a lot of time people just get rice because it's Asia. So like they'll get like a giant piece of like chicken breast, like fried chicken breast, and then it's just a tiny bowl of rice with it. And then they'll eat that, and then it'll come with like a little soup bowl too and everything, which I really liked a lot as a kid. I think I would even say I think that might have been like the first fast food chain in Vietnam.
But why were you a rich kid if you had a birthday party?
Because it was expensive. Yeah, it was expensive
for the birthday party?
Mm-hmm, to have a birthday party at a
that's
KFC.
Funny. I never even thought about the cost incurred of having a party at a McDonald's because you're like spending money on the food.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Tony, did you have a McDonald's birthday?
Did not. No.
Did not. Winston, did you have a KFC birthday?
I had a KFC birthday as a kid. Yeah. So that was really cool. But it was weird because like over there, like KFC was considered like high-end food. Like it was like expensive food. It's not like over here where you're just like, oh, it's fast food, you know? Same with McDonald's, same with Subway and Burger King. Over there, it's considered a luxury rather than like a cheap people food or poor people food or whatever, which I thought was really interesting once I got to America. Because I'm like, telling me I can buy 20 nuggets for like $4?
Dude, it is not not cheap people food anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, for sure. Yeah. You want to tell that story, Brian?
Jeez, man. Yesterday on the way home, prior to the door porch pirate encounter, swung into McDonald's for road food. I watched the movie Super Size Me a long time ago and didn't eat at McDonald's for like 2 or 3 years after watching that movie. But occasionally now you see, you swing in. It's the only thing on the road. I need something to eat. McDonald's fries are always good. Swing into McDonald's, get my wife gets a large French fry and a drink, and then I get a Filet-O-Fish meal. I'm looking at the big digital readout board, and I'm looking at the large fry, and the large fry costs $3.99. A large fry is $4, and I'm trying to look at that and go, that doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
And part of it's my old memory, because I remember when McDonald's French fries were like 79 cents. I sound
That's
like
crazy.
I sound like a grandfather.
You used to get a Big Mac value meal for $4.99.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was $5 was like you could get a meal for $5.
Yeah.
So my wife got some fries and a drink, and I got a Filet-O-Fish meal, which looked slightly bigger than a Crystal hamburger or a White Castle, depending on where you are.
Yeah, they're
but
tiny.
A tiny ass burger, a slider of a Filet-O-Fish. And then the whole total was $16. I'm like, she got fries and a drink. I got a value meal. So how's that come out to $16?
Well, you know what it is now that once you go to McDonald's nowadays, you kind of have to have a cheat plan to go into there. Like my go-to is always ordering 12 nuggets for $3.29.
So this is how old I am. I remember when Chicken McNuggets debuted.
Really?
The ad campaign on TV, they made them look like they were it was like the way they advertised Chicken McNuggets, you're like, this is a fantastic innovation in chicken consumption. I can go and I can get, I forget what the initial numbers were, which is hilarious because like the most they had was like a 10 piece or something. It was not the same, amounts that we have today.
Did they always have the sauce or no?
They had a few sauces to start with. So originally,
let me get my McNugget data.
McNugget data.
I'm trying to figure out what the original sizes were.
Tony got to go to McDatabase.
You had these commercials heralding the dawn of a new era. But back then, you had so you get a 4-piece McNugget, right?
Uh-huh.
And you get one and it was super good. It was super tasty. You get another one, it was super tasty, but then you'd get one that was like weird gray.
Oh.
You're like, chicken's not supposed to be gray.
This is the era of the pink slime nuggets.
Yes. Out of a 4-piece, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4-piece was the small one. You would get 2 that were good and 2 that were probably weird and they were gray. They were and they didn't taste as good as the other ones. Now
that's disgusting.
So when they had the commercials with 100% white meat, I'm like, what in God's name was I eating back in the 80s?
Monkey shoulders.
No.
My mom shames me because as a child, I didn't like the breading on a McNugget, so I
you peeled it off?
de-shell a nugget, and she's gagging as I'm eating them down.
Oh, that's so gross and hilarious.
Chicken.
But I want to play a little game here while we're on this subject. Game number 1. There were 4 original sauces.
Okay,
Let's see if you can name.
Barbecue.
Barbecue was 1.
Honey mustard.
Yeah.
No.
Really?
Honey mustard was not an OG sauce?
It's
ranch?
Not an OG.
No.
Huh.
Brian?
Sriracha?
We didn't even use the word sriracha back then. That exotic pepper was not known back then.
Is that what you call it? Yeah.
You had barbecue, just regular mustard, I'm guessing.
Nope.
Hold on.
Honey was one of them.
Honey? Just honey.
Just honey. Yes. Just honey.
Just honey.
So barbecue, honey.
You're close on a third one.
Ketchup?
You're dancing around it.
Marinara sauce.
I'll give you one of them. Hot honey.
Hot honey. So you had honey and hot honey,
which is still one of the sauces. Mm-hmm.
You had so those were 2 separate ones. Hot honey.
No, hot mustard.
Hot mustard.
Hot mustard.
Not hot honey. Okay.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, you said hot honey.
I'm looking at too
Drink
many things.
from your box, sir.
Oh no, that's the problem. Stop drinking from the box, sir. Honey?
Okay, what's the last one?
Honey, 1. Barbecue, 2.
Uh-huh.
Hot mustard, 3.
Uh-huh.
And the go-to sauce for a chicken McNugget.
Ketchup?
No,
Sweet and sour?
sweet and sour.
Sweet and sour was always the thing?
Sweet and sour was always a thing, which I don't remember who I was having this discussion with, but something about McDonald's brown sweet and sour sauce that is different from any other sweet and sour sauce.
No, that's true. It's really good. It's had like a weird
quintessential
tangy.
to me.
Yeah.
That's like the bar for sweet and sour sauce.
And I tell you what, like it's so disappointing nowadays because kid you not, it has to be a Gen Z thing. We never check our food before we leave the drive-through line. Never.
Okay.
So
have you not seen
order...
that skit?
Which skit?
Joe Pesci about them effing you at the drive-through?
I don't watch anything Joe Pesci. That's an old
I
people
was going to
thing.
say that's I knew that was coming as a no.
Don't ever go up to the drive-thru, okay? Always walk up to the counter. You know why? Okay. They fuck you at the drive-thru. They know you're gonna be miles away before you find out you got fucked, okay?
It'll be in the links. I'll link it.
Anyway, so I like the other day, me and my girlfriend, we got our chicken nuggets and then we just left and then got home and we're like, what the hell's the sweet and sour sauce? Like we got it, yeah. And it's not just that time. It has been this would have been my second time not having sauce. A few weeks before that, my roommate was going to McDonald's, and I'm like, "Hey, can you get me a 12 count? Can you get me sweet and sour sauce?" So he was like, "Yeah, sure thing." Came back and he checked. He didn't have his sauce. I didn't have my sauce. We're just like, "What's going on right now?" So
what's going on right now is there's like one person that works at every fast food restaurant, and they're just they're doing their best. I feel like that's
when will AI start giving me my friggin' sweet and sour sauce, huh?
See,
the robots won't forget.
Yeah, that's
Get
true.
the robots in there.
Yep.
Do the two of you want to take a crack at the 4 shapes of a chicken McNugget?
Oh, it's the United States. It's one of them, right? It's like
No.
I thought there's one that looked like...
They're all named. There's 4 shapes.
Barney? Is there a Barney?
No, they do all start with a B.
Okay. Biscuit. Is there a biscuit? All right.
Big.
Barnacle.
Some of them are very obvious if you think about it. Boot is one of them.
Boobs?
Boot?
Oh, boots.
If you get that one and it's got like the little handle on it, that's a boot.
I thought it was the U.S. one. That's why I call it. It's like
boot,
Florida.
Boot, bone, ball, and bell. But next time you get chicken nuggets, like you can separate them out into very discernible those 4 categories.
So hold on.
Yeah,
So
hold them
I'll
up
ask
and
you
say,
guys,
look, I've got 3 balls.
when you guys went to McDonald's as a kid, did they ever make fresh burger, or has it always been like the dehydrated and then like toss in the little thingy machine to reheat
So that
them?
was the differentiator between that and Burger King. Burger King was flame broiled, which means they just had flames heating it up. I think both places were frozen patties that they didn't heat it up and cooked their own way.
Gotcha.
What do you know about the McRib, man?
Man,
they're delicious. That's all I know.
Thank you,
the
Tony.
McRib.
I am an avid McRib defender and enjoyer. My roommates, on the other hand, curse me for it. We just moved in our place, and the very first meal I had in this house was a McRib, and they're like
sentimental.
They were laughing, and they were like, I want you to know, I'm laughing, and it's funny, but you will die.
You gotta die of something. It might as well be a McRib.
The McRib is no worse than any other thing sold at McDonald's.
That is true.
It's stamped pressed meat. Like the fact that they have it in the shape of ribs, but it's not actually ribs. It's one slab of meat. That's hilarious.
It's boneless rib.
Yeah. As a kid, I didn't get that. I just remember eating it and loving it.
Yeah.
I thought it was delicious and thought it was great. I've not probably eaten one in easily 25, maybe 35 years.
We need to rectify that.
I was gonna say we should do a live eating episode. We should just bring our equipment, sit down at McDonald's, and then just eat.
The On Location podcast.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
McDonald's.
Have you seen those guys? Like those guys that just set their table in the middle of like a park or something, and then just do their podcast in like the real world. Mm-hmm. That's cool. That takes courage. Yeah.
Now
you're gonna get laughed at and pointed at. Like, look at those. Okay, so I was out. My wife and I were getting lunch at Gusto, and we pulled into this Gusto restaurant, and there were literally girls outside taking Instagram photos in front of the name of the restaurant. This is
influencers.
Yeah, but this is like, that would be the equivalent of Tony and I doing a photo shoot at Chipotle. Like, I mean, what's like...
right. It's okay. They're influencing.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
All right, Tony, we need a shot of you grabbing a napkin because it's crazy. Like, what the hell, man? Like, I was really, really thrown by this. I'm like, why are we documenting this? But I guess, I don't know.
No,
Sorry.
but it, like legitly though, if they were being paid for it, I mean, that would be the only reason to take photos in front of it.
I guarantee they weren't.
They were
Okay,
not.
but I would say this in Asian community, there's especially those that come from overseas, there's a weird phenomenon where like if they come from Asia and they go to America and they see like a big name store, they had to take a photo in front of it. It's really weird.
Whether it's
Like,
known or not, okay.
My dad did it. So like when I was a kid, I remember like me and him were going to the mall with my mom, and we walked past the Chanel store. And he was like, hey, get a photo of me real quick right in front of the Chanel sign. I was like, whatever, man. So I just take a photo. My family, because we've lived in America long enough to where we're not like fresh off the boat anymore, we don't ever do that. But like I've seen
My
like,
daughter loves that show, by the way.
Fresh Off the Boat.
Yeah, absolutely adores that show.
I have my opinion about it, but it's whatever. I've seen on the internet Chinese kids, like Gen Z Chinese, mainland Chinese, love going to Costco, love taking photo in front of a Costco, even in China, because in China, if apparently it's like if you take a picture in front of Costco, you could fake it as if you're in America, and that's why they always like set up photo shoot outside of a Costco or inside a Costco. But the Costco in China is very different than the Costco here.
I would think so, yeah.
Man, they sell like designer clothing in there. It's crazy. Like over here, we get like freaking Adidas sweatshirt at most. Over there, they got like Versace handbag on sale. Yeah, it's insane. And they sell like Rolexes and stuff too. In like Asian parents' mind, it's like, oh, it's America. Like we got to get a photo of it.
See, man, they need to be taking pictures of like in Costco, but at the food, like $1.50 for a hot dog, man. I just paid $4 for a large fry at McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know, look at this.
I always laugh going into a Costco or a Sam's Club because they got those big signs. And they have to specify, if you read the fine print under the pictures, they go, not actual size.
Oh, really?
I'm like, oh, $1.19 for a hot dog bigger than me. That's awesome.
That's not the actual size, though, because
no.
Oh no, it's
You're
not
kidding
5 feet
me.
long, like the billboard I'm staring up at. Oh,
That's hilarious.
controversial move lately. I have not seen it.
Oh, are you talking about the churro thing?
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I can only confirm that I've seen the menu boards change. I have not seen any rioting or mean-spirited exchanges about the swapping of churros for warm chocolate chip cookies.
What's cool about the new cookie is apparently you can ask for them to make if you buy 2 cookies, you can ask for them to make an ice cream sandwich. So they put like ice cream in between and they're just like, yeah. You a big ice cream sandwich guy?
Not a big ice cream guy.
Really?
Again, I got that slight lactose intolerant thing going on.
I do too, but I still enjoy ice cream every now and again. I just gotta hold it in.
I worked at Ben and Jerry's in college. I've eaten more ice cream than any human should, probably.
Really?
Oh,
For
my
breakfast,
gosh.
lunch, and dinner?
No, but I mean, when you can
Wait, Ben and Jerry had a store?
Ben
They
and Jerry's do have stores.
stores.
They're called scoop shops.
Really?
Yes. There's a
Man.
couple in Atlanta, but yeah, and I worked at one when I was in college, and it was fantastic because probably shouldn't say this, right? Statute of limitations maybe have expired by this point, but you could write off anything as training. And you like, hey, we're teaching the new people how to pack pints. Hey, they packed like 4 pints of this ice cream. We write that off as training, and there's no problem with there's 4 pints
hilarious.
missing from, the Chunky Monkey. I remember when that was new. No, I'm sorry, Chubby Hubby, not Chunky Monkey, Chubby Hubby. When that was a new flavor, like that was like a big deal. Like they sent this new flavor to the stores, and this was like, somebody came up with this, and like they accepted sort of like crowdsourced flavors at Ben and Jerry's.
Dang, so you guys didn't have a cream master in the bag? Just
nope.
it up?
It was Scoop Master Brian, not Cream Master.
Scoop Master Brian.
Yeah. Yeah.
What Ben and Jerry's does have is at corporate headquarters, for all of the flavors that no longer exist, they have a cemetery.
Yes.
Really?
They have a cemetery
Yes.
for dead flavors. Yeah.
That's
Yes.
so cool.
Pretty neat.
I don't know if it's officially retired, but peanut butter chocolate chip cookie dough was my favorite when I worked there. That was amazing. I would eat that literally by the pint. It's amazing. I'm not 500 pounds by now from working there, but it was very weird. Like they would retire their flavors, right, Tony? And that's how it goes. And then they go to the graveyard.
Yes. Yeah. And one of Ben or Jerry that had like a taste deficiency, which is why the chunks of everything are so big in Ben and Jerry's ice cream so that he could taste them.
That's
What?
hilarious.
We need to independently verify that. I know that's
seriously.
crazy.
Let me look exactly which one it is, but that is a fact.
That's totally crazy. I'm going to throw this out here for a funny anecdote about Ben and Jerry's. Ben and Jerry's is from Vermont, right? From Burlington, Vermont. Also, from Burlington, Vermont is the band Fish. When I went to a Fish festival in 1996 up in Plattsburgh, New York. And being from the same hometown of Burlington, Vermont, Ben and Jerry's came out on stage while Fish was playing and sang a line to one of their songs.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was crazy because I had worked there, and then now I'm seeing on stage the actual Ben and the actual Jerry. One of them's dead now. Rest in peace, whichever one it is.
Are Ben and Jerry like lovers, or like were they just bros?
No, I believe they were either college roommates or friends, and they took a correspondence course on how to make ice cream.
Roommates, Brian.
So here's fact number 1.
Okay.
Is co-founder Ben Cohen has no sense of smell, which is a condition called anosmia. That's why there's such big chunks in their ice cream. Fact number 2, they took a creamery course on how to make ice cream at the famous Penn State Creamery in Happy Valley, Pennsylvania.
That's how they learned how to make ice cream, and they bought a Salt Rock ice cream machine maker and converted an old gas station into their first shop. And then from seriously like 2 hippie friends that took a correspondence course on how to make ice cream, and then bought an abandoned gas station and turned it into Ben and Jerry's, and then have grown into the empire that it is today.
That correspondence course was $5. It's insane.
Crazy to think that there was no ice cream before Ben and Jerry came along.
No.
What do you mean they made an empire out of it? What was going on with all the other ice cream spots?
They were inferior. They're like, we're gonna make. They made the funky, crazy flavors. They threw an entire thing of chocolate chip cookie dough into their ice cream, which
Yeah, it's because Ben has his little condition or whatever.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, this wasn't innovation. This man couldn't taste shit.
Yeah,
exactly. He had the original COVID.
Yeah,
it just never went away.
So Jerry's like, what about this? No, I still can't taste it. Man, okay, fine. I'll put more chocolate in it. No, still nothing. Fine. I threw an entire freaking roll of cookie dough. All this is delicious. There you go.
I think I started to taste something.
Well, I think it was just so he had something to enjoy. It's like you dump some little tiny chocolate chips in there, and it's like, that's fine. But if you can't taste stuff, you better have
the texture of it.
Texture. That's it.
And to tie it all back around, everybody knows, I don't know that everybody knows, but fish food, one of their flavors is after the band Fish from Vermont, which is fun. Yeah.
There's a flavor called fish food?
Yes, PHISH food, yes.
They really like that.
What's in it?
Marshmallow. It's got some marshmallow. It's got tiny chocolate fish in it.
Okay.
Yeah, so think of a goldfish, but a smaller chocolate one. Those are thrown in there.
Marshmallow, caramel, chocolate fish.
Yeah.
They really like their psychedelic bands because they also have Cherry Garcia.
Yeah, and a funny note about that. So when I worked there, that was before Ben and Jerry's, I believe, was bought out by Unilever years ago. Prior to that, though, they had one factory in Vermont that made all of their ice cream, and they'd load up refrigerated trucks in Vermont and drive them to all their scoop shops out in the United States. And so that's how, when I worked at one in Indiana, we would get a delivery from the driver, and it was the owner he owned several Ben and Jerry's in Indiana. He owned like 4 or 5 of them, and his son was this like total stoner, like hippie dude who would like load up in Vermont, probably smoke a pack of doobies on the way down to Indiana and drop off all the ice cream.
He shows up. What's up, Brian? I got some cream for you.
Got the
What's this called again?
Yeah.
White Widow. Oh, my fault. I mixed it up.
I'm sorry, Kush. No, Cherry Garcia, and Chubby Hubby, and Chocolate Foot. Yeah, and he would drop off.
What
the
kind
ice
of varieties you got? And he's listing stuff that you're not scooping.
Yeah.
Got Sour Diesel. I've got Dank Kush. I've got
Pineapple
I'm
Express.
sorry. Yeah, no, sorry.
Cali Miss.
Chubby Hubby and Chocolate Fudge Brownie. That's right. Sorry, man.
What size would you want that? A blunt?
Want a pound? A blunt? No. Oh no,
You go-
I
you
like
taking a
You want a
blunt or a
joint or a
pint?
blunt?
No. Yeah, we're going gallons, bro. That's yeah. But I will say that they have fantastic ice cream. Once I learned that Haagen-Dazs was just some fake bullshit word that they came up because it sounded fancy in German, I was like, okay, seriously, man, come on, that's
You
lame.
telling me Haagen-Dazs is not real Germans?
No, nor is
Oh,
Kodak.
shit.
Kodak Film was just came up
The
with
camera company?
Yes,
They
because
made Haagen-Dazs? Oh.
Wow.
how much soju has Winston had? Or conversely, how much bourbon has Brian had? No, Kodak was a made up word. Kodak, is not anything. It was
Right.
made up because the words or the syllables, those letters sound good. Kodak.
Kodak.
Yeah, and memorable.
Right, but if you think about it, isn't every word a made up word?
Right.
Kodak sort of sounds like the sound of a camera shutter too.
Oh, that's clever. Kodak.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I can see it. Are we high?
have we gotten a shipment from the ice cream man?
Bro, this is Ben and Jerry's new flavor, magic brownies. Check it out. There's chocolate fudge brownies, and then there's magic fudge brownies. Eat my brownies.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Tony, in high school, did you have any friends that worked fast food?
I thought you were just gonna ask if I had any friends.
Listen, the lonely sword,
Tony
very
just answered
off-putting.
no and also no.
and no.
You seem very off-putting. Did you have any friends?
I don't remember any, but I had somebody that I knew that worked at the Subway at the mall.
Oh.
Which was pretty sweet because you'd go up and really could go for one of those like strawberry shortcake cookies, and they're like, oh, we can't, no freebies, but they take it out of the case and break it and go, but we can't sell the broken ones, so I guess it's insurance. Like,
That's
awesome.
tight, yeah. That's super dope.
No, my brother-in-law Scott and a couple friends worked at Auntie Anne's,
Oh, dang,
which was
man.
great
Oh, yeah.
because end of the night they can't. They're just like, and you have to
Right,
throw
yeah.
all of the
Yeah, you
pretzels
throw it
away.
away,
So they
yeah.
would just,
The
they
hockey
would,
pucks.
yeah,
Yeah.
they would technically steal them because instead of going in a trash bag, they would go into a plastic bag and then they'd bring them back.
They were
Right,
recycling.
because isn't it
Yeah.
the policy is you're supposed to throw it out, right? You can't just
Right.
take it home. Yeah.
I'd show up to the mall and I'd be like,
8:30.
hey Scott, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm making a pretzel Yoshi. And he's just got it, like he's just doing whatever the heck he wants. He's like putting all kind of stuff on it. Yeah. I was just like, how did you not get fired?
He's doing jump rope with it.
Subway sandwich artist. Yeah, Auntie Anne's had pretzel artist. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Literally.
Up north, we had Hot Sam's in the mall, not Auntie
Now
Anne's,
that's-
but Hot Sam's.
Is Hot Sam's like the hotter, younger aunt of Auntie Anne? Is that what it is?
Sexy Samuel was the alternate name, but they said, no, we got to go Hot Sam's.
He can bend it into pretzel shape. That didn't
Yeah.
work for their slogan.
They had other shapes and they went, just stick to the original. Just,
In my memory, it looks like it could be a offshoot of the Little Caesars, the way the branding is for Little Caesars. That's what
Oh,
Hot
geez.
Sam looked like.
Hot and ready?
I didn't realize that was a chain. I have very, very vague memories of one being in the old mall in Johnstown, but I didn't realize it was a chain.
I always assumed those were like regional. Yeah, like, you go,
Yeah.
and then at some point when you head farther south, they then change into Auntie Anne's.
I'll tell you what, they don't have those in Vietnam.
Is
No,
that-
never had a pretzel until I moved to the US, which I would just like,
Oh,
whatever.
You missed out, man. A freaking a giant hot soft pretzel is incredible.
Okay, I'll explain to you guys some of the food that I don't understand that Americans love. Number
Please.
one, pretzel, right? Number
Pretzels
two,
are amazing. Wait.
Pretzels.
Stop
We're
there.
gonna stop you.
Yeah.
Pretzels, pretzels,
The Germans.
German.
Okay.
Lots of Germans immigrated to the U.S.
okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Still don't see the hype behind it. It's salty. I don't get it. I do like the tiny little thingy majig that they be making there with like the brown sugar and cinnamon sugar or whatever.
Yeah, you can get a savory or sweet pretzel. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Then number two, we got cinnamon roll. Never got the hype behind
Like a
it.
cinnamon?
Delicious.
Yeah, like a
You don't like
cinnamon.
Cinnabons?
No, I'm anti-cinnamon roll. I don't know. I just
Have
don't
you
like
had a Cinnabon?
Yeah, of course I've had a Cinnabon. That's why I'm saying I don't get the hype behind it.
Oh, so, yeah.
Okay.
It's
All
something
right.
wrong with something's wrong there.
Number 3, a nacho. Never got the hype behind nacho. That was the one thing I really wanted to eat as a kid. Got to America
Okay, where was your first nachos?
at a fair, at a state fair here in Georgia.
Okay, so those are the standard
good.
bottom.
It's the chip
tier,
with the
but-
melted queso. Yeah.
I'm kind
Never
of with
got the
you.
hype behind
I'm kind of with you on that one. My problem with the nachos is they have a pile of nachos with a bunch of stuff on top.
Yeah, and it's
if you're
all
not getting,
messy. Yeah.
well, not that they're messy, but it's like if you don't have a top nacho, you just have a dry chip.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'd
Is it-
like to make a public service announcement. If you're ever have the ability to visit a ale house, or I've seen them around here as a Miller's Ale House, if you order their chicken nachos, they're amazing. That should be the nachos you were sold in your dream, Winston.
Okay.
Do they have equal coverage?
Fairly good coverage. Have you been to an ale house, Tony?
I think they just put one up in Snellville.
There's one in Norcross.
Oh,
These are all random northern suburbs of Atlanta.
yeah.
For those outside the metro area, like our friends in Russia.
Okay, I got one more.
Okay,
And
I love
this
list.
one's gonna make Tony mad. The Krispy Kreme glazed donut. Never got the hype behind.
Do we just end shows by going, what's gonna tick Tony off the most? Really? You're gonna come to my country and you're gonna on a Krispy Kreme.
Tony, I'd like to get a dozen donuts and watch The Lord of the Rings and know they both suck.
One of the things that I always loved it's been probably 10 years ago, I seen a news article that said Krispy Kreme was doing like a promotion thing where you got a dozen donuts. And it was like this huge box with 144 donuts. And it's just like, and you can get that for, and it's just like, and you can get that for your corporate events or large scale parties. And there's somebody in the comments was like, what kind of party do you need with 144 donuts? And the comment below that, which I felt was like a soulmate to me, was the party's called I'm about to eat 144 donuts.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's so good.
Do you not like donuts?
Yeah,
No, I do. That's the thing.
With those.
The thing is, I like donuts. I love me a pink sprinkled donut.
Donuts.
I love me a raspberry filled donut, but I just can't get behind a glazed donut by itself. That and donut holes.
Yeah,
donut
donut
holes
holes
is
are-
dumb.
Yeah, I used to work with a guy who would always point out, "It's like there's no donut hole.
Yeah, there's no
Like,
hole in a. Yeah,
They
and they're
don't
small, yeah.
stamp the holes out of a donut.
Yeah,
they wrap
exactly.
them like that. He's like, there's no.
Is it called donut hole because you can fit it in the hole of a donut?
Oh, there you go. See, I was assumed that they were trying to sell it off as like you remove the hole of the donut, but no, there you go, Winston. Now it's like a game of like freaking cornhole.
But like a crispy, like the yeast donut is superior to a cake donut to begin with, in my opinion. And just the light airiness of a fresh off the line hot Krispy Kreme. You see the light on, you swing in, you get a hot, fresh Krispy Kreme.
Yes, Pavlov has been confirmed.
It's like eating air almost. It feels like eating nothing.
It's sugar flavored air.
It's sugar
flavored. Oh, good.
That does fly into my mouth as air and then lands in my stomach as a brick.
Yeah,
that's
like things that I would eat and die from would be Krispy Kreme donuts and Cinnabons. I would just.
Have you had a Cinnabon, Winston? Because
yes, I've had a cinnamon roll from Cinnabon. I just don't get the hype behind them. They're just they're mid is all it is.
Compared to other cinnamon rolls.
Okay, I got one more. This will equally piss off Brian, just as I did you.
Damn, man, come on! Like he's got one apiece.
Black coffee. I don't understand. Like hot black coffee. How do you do that? Like how? I can't do that. That's disgusting. It's bitter. It's not fun. You ever seen every movie ever? Like American workers would get out of bed and make themselves a hot cup of black coffee and they're just sipping on their way out.
Right.
I don't understand how they could do that. That's dumb.
So as I've grown older, let me try that again. As I've grown older, I forgot the D. The older. The D slipped out of that word. Let me put it back in.
The D slip out of it?
Pardon me, the D slipped out. As I've gotten older, my taste for bitterness, which I think has been accelerated by drinking sort of bitter beers, IPAs with very bitter. Before they became all tasting like sweet juice, they were bitter,
Right.
and kind of liked more bitter tasting things. And in an effort to cut back the amount of sugar that I took in at the time, I kind of like started scaling back because I used to take. I even made the joke, which is a Beastie Boy lyrics. I take my sugar with coffee and cream.
When it comes to beach, well, I'm on theme. I like my sugar with coffee and cream.
Like I would put a ridiculous amount of sugar in my coffee. And then just generally over time, my wife started drinking coffee black. So I started like scaling back tea but then I finally got no sugar in my tea. And then I started scaling back the amount of sugar I put in my coffee. And then I began to appreciate the taste of like coffee.
Of
coffee flavored coffee. Yeah, like actual coffee flavor. Not for a long time though. So that's so I will not admonish you for wanting for not standing black coffee.
Yeah.
Because that was like a weird journey, but now it's like, I do like the taste of black coffee. I drink my coffee black.
That's fair.
That might just be a thing that as people get older, they generally that bitterness appreciation develops.
Yeah.
Whether that's
two things that's guaranteed, or three things that's guaranteed as you get older: deaf, liking black coffee, and pooping your pants.
That's it.
Don't forget taxes. That was taxes.
Well, that's always around. I'm not that old, and I have to deal with it already.
And listen,
poop in your pants. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
The coffee is contributing to the poop in your pants.
Yeah,
so
that will do it.
That maybe there's a correlation there. Maybe we've discovered something.
But no, so that's why. So I'll give you the black coffee, but Tony and I will fight you on pretzels and
glazed donuts.
Cinnabons.
Oh, really? No glazed donuts? All right, that's cool.
Here's the thing, man. In high school, I was on the swim team in high school, and so we exercised a lot. So I took a ridiculous amount of calories because I was like skinny as a rail. My buddy and I, every Tuesday and Thursday was weight days instead of jumping in the pool. So we'd jump in the pool at 6:00, but on Tuesdays and Thursdays we'd go do weights. After weights, we had enough time to go to Dunkin' Donuts before and then come back to school, and we could have breakfast and then go to class. He and I, my buddy Tom and I, would split a dozen donuts, meaning he would pick out six
each,
and I would pick out 6, and I would eat 6 donuts and drink 4 tiny cartons of milk.
Holy cow!
Tony knows the cartons of milk that I speak of. Yeah, and it was like nothing. This is my sophomore and junior year. I probably weighed like 120 pounds. It was like ridiculous.
Insane.
Yeah. And we would eat a half dozen donuts.
The metabolism was crazy at that time, huh?
Absolutely. I loved donuts, and so I can appreciate the hot donut sign and what they do taste like, but they do make me feel like garbage now after I eat them. So so it's like a weird sort of like double-edged sword. I'm not gonna yuck his yum because scarfing down some hot glazed donuts are delicious.
Maybe that's what it is I need to experience a like fresh hot.
You've never pulled over when the sign is illuminated?
You also need to experience mediocre donuts. And Brian, I'm going to say this. Even first thing in the morning, you go to a Dunkin' Donuts, they already taste stale.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Dunkin' Donuts, but they're
it was leftover from the night before.
That's why they dropped the donut. They're just called Dunkin' now because everyone went, these donuts are
sucks. No, guys, it's actually because we also sell coffee and stuff. Yeah, all right, man.
Sure, whatever. Yeah.
Give me the shit.
You need to have bad donuts to appreciate the good donuts.
That's a solid argument. But keep in mind, up north in Indiana, you had Dunkin' Donuts. You had no other options. And this is super funny because we would go there at like 7:00, 6:30 in the morning. Dunkin' Donuts in my town in Highland, Indiana, literally had one of the front spots marked off that said for the police.
Really?
So like if the cops wanted to go into the donut shop, they had their own reserved parking space right there at the front.
It wasn't just a stereotype.
It is not a stereotype. They planned for it.
Oh, God.
But again, though, if I'm a cop and I'm working the night beat and I'm freaking tired and I want to go and get a cup of coffee, you roll into Dunkin' Donuts. They give them front space, and I think they probably gave him free coffee too.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any other options. There were no Krispy Kremes where I grew up, and that was the thing I learned of later. So
when I was a kid, eating donuts in Vietnam was a weird experience because there was no Dunkin' Donut, there wasn't any Krispy Kreme. There was a a French bakery / American bakery that would
Probably
make
amazing
donuts.
freaking donuts. It was probably
It
never.
was good. It was like gourmet donut, man. It was definitely stale by the time you get it because it was in like those, those loud as hell like containers. You know what I'm talking about? Like the plastic container that's just real loud when you open them.
Yeah.
And it was in one of those. And it was real tiny, and it was a white donut with fruity pebbles on them. And that was like the best donut up. It was that one, so that was number one. The second
Wait, this was wait a second. This was happening back when you were in Vietnam?
Yeah. This is for me, that was 2008 was when we finally got our first donut. Or like there was a shop that would sell donuts.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm confusing it with when you were born. I'm confusing it with when you were born. Okay, so you were in Vietnam till 2008.
No, I was there. It was 2008, 2009 was when I was eating donuts. I was there till 2011. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that was number one. That was the best donut I ever had. Second best donut was when my brother came back from the US in 2010, and we went to a bowling place up in some big tower in Vietnam, and you can order a pink sprinkle donuts, and that's where I got my first pink sprinkle donuts, and that's why
like the cartoon Homer Simpson.
Yeah, like the Homer Simpson donut. Yeah. And that's always I always have a soft spot for that one. Like even if I don't like donuts now, if I see it, I'll eat it just because it's nostalgia.
So so pink frosting with rainbow sprinkles.
Yeah, pink frosted donuts. Yeah, but anyway,
this will be for Brian. It's not only time to make the donuts, but it's also time to wrap up the episode.
Oh, but time to make the donuts also makes me think of Don't Squeeze the Charmin, which was a very
Mr. Whipple. Yeah, they look kind of similar.
That was a very confusing commercial as a kid. I know this is side to tangent, but do you remember those commercials? Don't Squeeze the Charmin, Tony?
I don't know that they aired when I was alive, but I absolutely know what you're talking about. Again, a fan of the 80s.
I don't know what they are.
Okay, so Winston, Dunkin' Donuts had a commercial, and it was this old guy. Dunkin' Donuts was trying to let you know that their donuts are made fresh, despite us calling them stale several times now on this podcast.
Right. Guess we're not getting that sponsorship.
Damn it, man. No, depends. Beginning, what else?
We're going to have to redact this if we ever blow up.
Depends might sponsor us.
Yeah. Anyway.
No McDonald's. Oh, geez. So their commercial for Dunkin' Donuts was time to make the donuts. It was this old guy. He was always waking up at the crack ass before the sun came up. Right. He had to make the donuts. He was always complaining about time to make the donuts.
Time to make the donut.
I'm almost wondering if in my memory, Mr. Whipple is the same guy as the time to make the donuts guy. I think it might be. Tony, can you check that out for me?
I'm going to check it.
So, Winston, the commercials for Dunkin' Donuts. Time to make the donuts. This guy's always waking up making donuts, right? And then later, there was this guy who was a grocery store manager. I'm not sure. And he was saying, don't squeeze the Charmin. Charmin being the bathroom tissue. Apparently, they were to have you believe that people were coming in and squeezing the Charmin.
And now she's squeezing the Charmin. Please don't squeeze the Charmin.
To see if it was soft. It also sounds like a euphemism. You squeeze the Charmin. Right. The manager of the grocery store is going around going, don't squeeze the Charmin, don't squeeze the Charmin, which was very confusing as a kid. I'm like, but if you're telling me that your bathroom tissue is so soft, why don't you want people to squeeze it? Like the whole thing was this guy not telling people not to squeeze the Charmin.
So what does that have to do with a guy making donuts?
They were both old guys. They're not the same man.
Not the same guy at all. I was really hoping Tony was going to come back around being like, yes, Mr. Whipple is Mr. Charmin Squeezer.
Would have been great. Michael Vale played the Dunkin' Donuts guy, and Mr. Whipple was played by Dick Wilson.
Dick Wilson. Whipple Wilson.
Richard, but yeah.
Richard Whipple.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dick Whipple.
Anywho.
That's how we sign off every show now.
We actually did a good job this episode, guys. There was no penis joke that was made.
We started with poop jokes.
Close enough.
Might as well be the same thing.
But
no, I'm sorry. We did make a dick joke. It was when you said the D fell out. That's right. Okay, we're good. I just want to make sure we hit our quota before we get out of here.
Gotta have one.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. Tell a friend, get the word out. Please rate and subscribe wherever you're listening so you don't miss new episodes whenever they come out. If you want us to talk about something, send us an email. You can do that at podcastxyz, that's xwhyz, @gmail.com. You can also visit us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, all at podcastxyz. And you can always visit us at our home on the web, podcastxyz. podcast.podbean.com. We will see everybody next time.
See you later, everybody.
Sayonara.